Hey guys, welcome to In This Season, where we're all about growing
and glowing
in each season. My name is Priscilla, also known as Elaton Priscilla on the Instagram and the YouTube streets.
My name is Zerida, also known as Epicurious Diaries.
You're watching In This Season.
So today we are finally back. First of all, let's first clap for ourselves. Clap for us. It's been a minute. So today we just want to talk about our life updates and where we are, and a number of things about the wedding culture, the wedding preparation, and the process that we went through. But before that, I want to ask Zerida, what's been exciting you lately?
Peace.
Yeah.
Rest has been really exciting for me in this season. I've talked about it very many times on my Instagram, but I don't know if that means I'm getting old. But I'm really, really enjoying rest in this season.
Yeah.
It also feels a bit like I'm in a metamorphosis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just about to change my life around completely.
Yeah.
And it just feels exciting.
And what brought about, what do you think brought about that change, that desire to change?
You know what? I can't point at anything in particular. I've always been like very sporadic.
Yeah.
I can just up and move with no prior warning. That's just how I am. So I can't point to anything in particular.
That's nice. That's nice.
What about you? What's exciting you in this season?
Yeah, in this season, there's so many things that are exciting me. Number one, it feels nice to be back on set. Guys, we are shooting. If you could see the back, like it's very professional. Like even I'm having goosebumps.
Definitely, completely different.
Very different from where we were last year. We're like really hustling it out. And so I think that's quite exciting. But also I'm about to start a new job. So by the time this comes out, I'll be all the way in Bangladesh. So it really feels good to be back to the workspace after about 5 months of just being a housewife of Bolino.
We've actually really loved this season of your life.
Yeah.
We've loved watching it.
Yeah. So I've really enjoyed being a housewife. I've enjoyed going with my husband for work, like just being in my plates and cups, bedsheet, carpets era. In my Mugole era. And I've also gained some Kamugole weight. So I really feel good about that. So that's really exciting. And yes, I'm just ready to be back to my career boss babe moves. And so that's what's really been exciting me lately.
I've actually remembered one more thing that's been exciting me. Cooking.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy that you're back to cooking.
It's been, I used to be a cook. Like I loved cooking.
Yeah, and baking. The first time we met, I remember you baked for us cakes.
Yeah, I loved cooking since I was like a child. I hosted my first dinner party when I was like 11. I remember I would invite my mom's friends over and they'd come and they'd eat and whatever. And then throughout my 20s, I think when I first moved back around 2016, I would just invite random people, workmates, my brother's friends, host dinner parties. I didn't have that many friends. So I'd just, try to find people to make up the number. Yeah. And then it just completely disappeared. Completely. I have been kitchen averse for the last couple of years, like maybe 2-3 years, but I'm
getting back into
finding my way back.
That's nice. That's amazing. I've been seeing on the Instagram, you've been posting recipes, things you've done.
In my wifey era.
And I like that for you. Amazing. So let's jump into the second segment of the show, where we just like a life update. The last time you guys saw us was like last year. I had just gotten engaged. No, I had done my traditional ceremony. And Zeri also introduced us to her amazing welcoming committee, who you guys loved. That episode has so many views. You guys really enjoyed it and ate it up. So yeah, just a life update on where we are now before we jump into the topic for the day. So yeah, Zeri, life update. Where have you been? What have you been up to? Yeah.
So much has happened since the last time we were on set. I think the last time that we shot, I wasn't even engaged yet.
No, you weren't. You guys were still in your matching pajama era.
Yeah. But since then, we got engaged.
Yeah.
Angela had the wedding. Yeah. So now we are 4 months in.
Amazing.
And we have not killed each other yet. So yeah, that's the update. I am happily married, and
you're no longer a single girlie.
I'm no longer a single girlie, which is very interesting though, because the first time we shot this, like when we shot the first season, I was single.
Single like a prude.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't met my husband yet
Yeah.
at that time. So yeah, here we are. Season 3.
Amazing. Season 2, and you are married.
Season 3.
Season 3.
Yeah.
See my head. Anyway, so yeah, life update. I got married. You guys, I think probably if you follow me on Instagram, I did like a whole reels thing. It is. I mean, yeah, I'm that weird. So yeah, we got married. It's been coming to 8 months now since we got married.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I came back home and stayed and lived with my husband for another 5 months because the time we got married, I was living away. So mfumbi dedala. Mfumbi.
Mr. Coming.
Yes, Mr. Ayongere Chisanja. Yeah.
And how's that been for you?
It's been amazing. One day I'll probably go into detail with my situation. It's a little bit different from, most of you guys. But because it was long distance marriage in the beginning, it was a bit challenging, and it really just felt nice to be back for those few months, because we didn't even have a honeymoon because I jumped right back into work. He had also to jump right into work. So we've just both been in our busy lanes, and it just really feels nice to slow down. Because between the both of us, I could take the time out. So it was really nice for me to just slow down, spend some time with him, get to know each other. It's very different when you're not married and now you're living together.
No one tells you that. Yeah, it's
so
different.
yeah. So my mom had all Hawaii. Mom munasola mutia long distance relationship. Omusajja mlesotia. My auntie is saying, "Guys, omusajja mleke dabala me Kampala." I'm like, guys, he'll be fine. Yeah. So it really felt nice to be back, and we've enjoyed the time. And now it's time for me to be back.
I think the biggest shocker for me also has been how different it is when you're dating and not living together, and then you start to live together and you really get to know each other. So navigating our
new space,
but also our home personalities, how you do things around the house.
And we'll get into that.
And sort of like balancing that. That has been an absolute shocker.
Yes, I'm very curious and I want to hear anymore. Anyway, so just talk to me about planning your wedding, So there is this whole wedding culture. That's something we really want to talk about here on the show. Like, I remember when I was organizing and starting like the preparation process on Pinterest and what, there's just sort of a wedding culture. There's what's acceptable. Traditionally, our parents used to get married with TP, toilet paper, as the decoration. They serve popcorn, sumbusa in brown, and my mom, that's what my parents got in brown envelopes. And then there's an after party, which is like for just a few close family and friends.
Is that more like grandparents era?
No, even our parents. I don't know, it depends on how old your parents are, but my parents, that's how we did it. So we had like a proper big ceremony, church, and move out, and we had like a big reception. But that big reception, we served like, it was decoration, gabakosla TP, white over green. Then they served like popcorn in brown envelopes, queen cake, and like samosa, and then soda for everyone who came. Then those people go. Then later in the evening, we go and change. Then family and very close friends have like an after party, like a dinner in a nice restaurant, nice hotel, very, very small, very intimate. And I feel like we now have moved away from that to, a much bigger ceremony of you having like 300 people, 400 people. And there's also what's accepted on social media, there's all this pre-engagement, so it's just like a whole wedding culture. And when you want to get away from it, you feel like, well, my wedding is, is it still a wedding if you don't do all that? So I'm curious to know, because you also did something out of the box, how, what was the process? What was the thought process behind it? And
First of all, throughout the wedding planning process, what I wanted my wedding to feel like was just like a party with close friends and family coming together to celebrate our love. I was not at all driven by any kind of pressure because there are certain things that made no sense to me. Like, what is the purpose of this? Things like pre-wedding photos. What is the purpose? It didn't make sense to me because we've been together, we've been taking photos together. It just didn't make sense to me. And if you know me personally, even my wedding photographer struggled with me because, it's not, so I prefer, generally speaking, spontaneous photos to portraits. Let's sit, let's pose here, hold the flower, it doesn't make sense to me as a person. I would not hang those pictures up in my home. My wedding thing. It's not something that I am particularly into. So I did away with that.
Yeah.
And so I found myself doing away with so many things that just didn't make sense to me. Like this, okay, wedding culture says we do this. Does it make sense? No, out.
Was it easy? Because I feel like we are bombarded with all these images of picture perfect weddings and how weddings should look like. And I feel like if, as a bride who's organizing a wedding, I'm sure many of you who are there and your upcoming brides, it can be very challenging to swim against the tide. Yeah. Because you sort of, there's this desire to be acceptable for your ceremony to look, I don't know, we are all like chidindi, abanda bepena, we all go, So how, was it easy for you to swim against the tide?
It was. First of all, I've always liked small weddings. My family always does small weddings. I remember when my parents got married, that was 33 years ago. Yeah. They had 100 people wedding, which was
33 years ago. That was ahead of their time.
Yeah. So what they did is they had a luncheon at my mom's parents' home. Then they had a luncheon at my dad's parents' home, and then invited only 100 people to Sheraton for their actual wedding, reception, etc. So they had like dinner, and it was very simple but very classy. Yeah. And I have been obsessed. I have been obsessed with that wedding my entire life. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've watched the video. I've just been obsessed with it. I was obsessed with the simplicity, and I actually watched it so many times over the last year when we were planning the wedding. And I remember stressing like the photographers and the videographers because I wanted even the video to look just like the feel. And back then they used to do those long videos, which you watch for like half a day. Yeah, so you really felt like you were there, and it just felt light and the mood. So I cared more about the mood than the aesthetics. Okay. That's where my personal focus was when I was planning my wedding. Yeah. Not the aesthetics, but on the mood. I wanted people to have a nice time, to connect with each other.
It was more about connection and intimacy. Amazing. I think also for myself, I think similar to what you're saying is I wanted the feel. I wanted my people to enjoy them. So I don't like, we are very chill people. I think maybe that's why, because I don't want those uptight, very formal ceremonies where I feel like people can't even sneeze. Yeah. People can't show up to themselves because it has to look picture perfect. Yeah. I mean, so it's your wedding. I feel like your wedding should reflect who you are as a person, and people should come to your wedding and say, this is indeed Priscilla's wedding. And I feel like I achieved that. Everyone who came to the wedding was like, this is Priscilla, this is a farmhouse setting, this is rustic. She loves sports. So I feel like that was what was driving me. Talk to us about your wedding dress.
So we'll start with the fact that I hate white.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate white. So there was no way in hell I was going to wear.
They say about white, about purity, white is about what everyone is wearing. White.
Friends, I hate white. And the beauty of getting married when you are older is that you get to do what you want.
That's true.
You can just because you want to, not because of anything at all. Yeah. So the things that I considered when I was choosing my wedding dress, first of all, it wasn't even a long process. I wanted something simple. Yeah. I wanted something that, I wasn't going to deal with shipping. I didn't want to deal with, because I did that the first time around on my first wedding. And that dress is still in a suitcase.
Oh, really?
House and so this time around, it just didn't make any sense.
I get it.
Do you get? Yeah. Like the previous time, I remember shipping in a dress, then it came and I didn't like it, and so we bought another dress, and so there's a lot of money sitting in a suitcase somewhere that's never going to be used again. Do you know what I mean? And now at this big age, no. Yeah. So I just really wanted something really simple. First of all, that wouldn't take me too much time. You know how I am. Yeah. You have my fittings, dramatic. You have 15 minutes. Yeah. I'm just like uncomfortable. It is hot. I'm just, So I just wanted it to be over and done with. And then also, I didn't want to be a focal point, which is why I did change as well. You know how, the entrance and all of this stuff. I don't like that. Yeah. I don't like it at all. So I didn't want to change because I didn't want to have that point when the attention is drawn back to you and this outfit, and it just doesn't make sense to me
I get
as a person.
Yeah.
So I tailored my wedding dress. And it was.
And you looked amazing.
Thank you.
I'm sure we shall probably put some pictures in here of the wedding dress if she permits us, because Madame was like, I don't know if I want. I'm still deciding.
I haven't picked up my pictures.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you still have pictures,
that's how unbothered I am. Like, there are things that are important to me.
Yeah.
And there are things that are not. And
that's one
wedding
of them.
Pictures is just.
Me wedding pictures were very important. I need to have like a magazine spread about what, like I really needed that. I needed that. And even my wedding dress, I had always been dreaming of that. I was meant to be a Maggie Sotero bride, like since I was a kid. So Maggie Sotero is a very old designer. She's not like trendy. She's like very traditional. So I wanted her styles.
Your dress was so beautiful.
It was. I loved it. I really, really, really loved it. And I'm so glad that I got it. And thanks to Sisters Bridal. They're not sponsoring us for this show. But anyway. Yeah. So
a good experience is a good experience.
It was a good experience. Yeah. So talk to us. What shocked you about planning a wedding that you didn't know? People don't talk about. I know everyone talks about, oh my God, budget. Yeah, we get it. But what else shocked you besides, of course, we all know how expensive weddings are.
Yeah, that was going to be my first point. The cost. No. We know, but I don't.
Do we really know?
Anything prepares you for the actual cost.
Yeah.
I had a very small wedding. 50 people.
50 people, yeah.
However, at some point, I remember asking around about, the cost of decoration. And at some point, I got a few quotes that cost more than everything else. Please explain to me how...
You're going to eat flowers and...
Plastic. No, real flowers are different, but plastic. But even still, you cannot tell me that I'm going to spend all of that money for, even if it's flowers, that are going to be there for how many hours? Because at the end of it, we're all going to get up,
and go
and leave them.
Yeah, but then you're creating memories, pictures, and those things. So I feel like
that's the thing, though. We all have emphasis points.
Yeah.
And I personally would not fault someone to whom
they spend as much.
Means that much to you to do that. Yeah. But for me,
Okay, what else shocked you?
What shocked you?
I think I knew how expensive weddings are. So I wasn't shocked when it came to decor or food. I knew how expensive weddings are, and I think I was ready for that. I mean, I used to be that girl who used to dream about my wedding like for forever. So I even had like my Pinterest board ready. So I wasn't shocked about the cost. But I think what shocked me was the people who came through with money for me shocked me. Like people who I didn't expect, and they're giving you 1 million. People who, people giving you 5 million. I'm like, people give this amount of money. Wow. So I was very humbled, I think, by that, because we didn't have wedding meetings. We only put up like a Google document. People registered, and then if you want to contribute, you contribute. So I was very humbled by how much people really were willing to give to us, because everyone was telling us, oh my God, Temokoze meetings, who's going to give you money? People want to come, or they fundraise, like a culture generally. And I was like, my husband is extremely busy. I'm away. There's no one we are going to burden to start sitting in those meetings every week. At Temo Fundraise, chairman's bag. At what do they say? What touch over here? Like, it was just not going to work for us. And we just chose to take a bold step and, do a virtual thing. So we're really amazed at how much we're able to get from friends and family, for our wedding. So I think that really shocked me. Because I was me and we sat down and we said, okay, we're going to have meetings. What's the worst? How much can we raise between us? That if no one ever gives money, can we do this wedding? And you're like, you know what? This is what we'll go for. Yeah, we want 150 guests. We can afford this. And so we're ready to just do it out of pocket. And people were just amazing with their giving. So I was really humbled, with that.
Yeah. I think wedding meeting culture is one of the things about weddings that needs to go.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it is. I think it needs to go. I don't think that it is okay to hound people about your marriage.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think that it's okay. I think that if somebody is going to give you money, because if I'm not going to give you money,
I'm not going to give you money.
Hound me, even if your treasure costs me 1,000 times, I'm not going to give it to you. Do you know what I mean? So I think that wedding meeting culture, it's I don't know what the intention was when it started.
Here, I think the intention was to have people involved in your marriage. Kubanga, you know, we are in Africa, we are in Uganda, we are Ubuntu, the Ubuntu culture. So that's what I think.
But I think it's gone far. It's gone quite far.
I think so, but I feel like there's a fine balance. It can still be a good practice to bring people around to celebrate, because people say marriage is just not you alone, you and your husband.
No, but you see, Priscilla, there's a difference between a meeting to plan and coordinate and a meeting to hound people for money.
True. I think the challenge is in the hounding, and in the gathering of people to celebrate, to sort of like be part of your journey. I think there is value in that.
Fair enough, but we can agree that wedding meetings are not about people being part of your marriage. Okay. In fact, the minute you give your contribution, nobody cares. Some people won't even invite you. Yeah, you've hounded me for months. And then you get. We both know wedding meetings are not about Ubuntu and all of these things. Yeah, but also, at least not anymore. Maybe I
think that was the intention. Also, because those days, for those people who wouldn't be able to afford to pay them, I think those days also because of bride price used to be exorbitant. So I think families would join together to support, their son. And I don't know, if you know why we do wedding meetings in Uganda, please let us know all of your thoughts. Let us know in the comments down below.
You were about to say that people were not able to afford. Yes. Okay, you mentioned bride price, but if it was back to the point of the wedding,
I think it was it was more bride
afford
price.
Your wedding,
don't get married.
Civil is an option. No, I'm not saying don't get married. It's just one, we can do things that we can afford.
Yes, that's true.
Nobody says we have to have 500 people weddings or 1,000 people weddings.
Totally agree.
I had a 50 people wedding and it was beautiful. Do you know what I mean? It was
really lovely.
There's no need. I don't have to do 500 because you did or because X did.
Yeah.
If I have 20 million shillings in my pocket, I can fit my wedding in 20 million shillings.
That's true. I think this goes back to the wedding culture we're talking about, how we all tend to buy into the way things are bigger and we don't stop to question
that if
why.
It doesn't have this and that is
exactly. Like, for example, we didn't have wedding cars, those bridal cars, because we did everything in one place. But also talk to me about bridesmaid tax. You didn't have bridesmaids, but I'm sure that what was the process behind that? Because we also hear lots of drama about bridesmaids, the shower, the bridal shower, the dresses, how much money it actually costs. People put you in bridal shower groups and banang. They're telling you to pay 300K about fly to Greece, fly to Mombasa. And then if you can't afford, are you a bad friend? Do you consider you sometimes removed from the bridal entourage because you don't wish your friend well, you're jealous.
Or you don't know.
Or you don't meet the aesthetic, you don't like, you're not pretty enough, so you can't really, they want you to go in picture,
buy 5 dresses.
Or you can't buy those dresses. So talk to me about bridesmaid tax, and when you're preparing your wedding, what was the thought behind, because you didn't actually have bridesmaids?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Again, first of all, I have a theory that all the bridesmaids, I think.
Why are you hating on us?
Sorry, to me, Tebanyuma.
Yeah, but also, what was the idea behind bridesmaids? Do we even know the history? Like, why?
To be honest,
has any of us ever sort of questioned ourselves? Why bridesmaids? Yeah. And why do they have to wear matching dresses?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the history is. For me, when I was making that decision, it was a very simple one. Yeah. I am not the one that's going to coordinate whether adults have bought their dresses or gotten their dresses, or to coordinate adults to come and, let's come and fit. It's too stressful for me. And the whole wedding process itself was very stressful for me. Yeah. Also, again, I asked myself, what is the purpose of bridesmaids? Yeah. And I had no answer.
To hype you up.
I had no answer to it. So it went out on so many other things.
I get it.
On my first wedding, I had all my friends who were bridesmaids. Yeah. And even then, we didn't do
matching dresses.
I just sent the color brief and told everybody, just get, this kind of dress.
I get it.
So everybody got their dress from wherever and we showed up on the wedding day and we moved, Yeah. So, but at that time, it was important for me to, in fact, I remember even the the table, the head table where my ex and I sat.
Yeah.
I sat with all my friends.
Oh, wow.
All of them. It was important to me at that time.
Yeah, but now
in this
it
time, I think my priorities were different, and I really just wanted to enjoy my husband, and that was it. Really.
That's nice. I had bridesmaids, and the thought process behind having my bridesmaid was, I remember I did a reel on Instagram, and I said, how did you choose your bridesmaid? One, for me, it was about people who have been in my life. Of course, just like yourself, I've been engaged before, about to get married. So I'd already been through that process of planning. So for me, it was always about someone who has walked the journey with me, someone who is my friend, someone who I've prayed with, talked to, and of course in different spheres of life. So I had my friends flying from work, friends from way back, like, at uni. I had my friends I met, in my mini adult life. So I had friends from different walks of life. And I felt like it was very important for me that they also celebrate that day with me. But in terms of the dress, also, I couldn't be bothered that they all wear matching dresses. And I wasn't so bothered about aesthetic, about who looks how, about who's thin, about who's tall. It was really, I wasn't there for aesthetics. It was about who actually I feel, love and support. So I just saw them one wear orange, whatever, this is a shade of orange, sorting. And they came long or short. So
everybody got their
own dress, and they showed up. I didn't really have to bother over now makeup artist over who, like, it was really stress-free. And I think that basically what we're trying to encourage here is you don't need to, wedding culture can be toxic. You don't need to buy into what everyone is doing. Your wedding should really reflect you as an individual. If you're a chill person like Zerida, it's really encouraged that you just, be chill. If you're extra, you want your girls to wear 5 dresses and they can afford it, by all means, go for it. But you should not feel the pressure to do something
and paste, or to buy into, because at the end of the day, this industry is there. It's a commercial industry.
It is a commercial industry.
So all these trends are motivated by somebody has come up with it to make money.
And do you also realize that most of the wedding culture is targeted towards women?
Yeah, of course.
Do you realize that for men, like, let me tell you, as like my husband, they go ready, like, and they were done. Just their suit, they cut their hair, and they're good. But the wedding culture targeted towards the women, they hang the gown up. You must wear matching pajamas. Then the makeup artist comes, they take videos.
Yes, I remember they take the video where my husband came to bring me my gift, and he was wearing his shorts and t-shirt.
Like, it's not targeted towards men, but because they know women, you are emotional buyers. You're the ones who are going to spend the money. So before you go spending your top dollar on some of these random worshipping, matching bride shoes, those things look cute.
But you're going to use them for all of 1 minute.
One day, so if you don't have the budget for it, please don't feel like your wedding will be less than, or you'll be a less bride or aesthetically pleasing bride, so
And there's so many little things. I know, the bride gown, the bride, and
the crown,
about
the bridal shower, which like
so many little things, that you're never going to use again. But that's all money. So I feel like for me, again, do away with whatever you don't need.
And I think that's what we're advocating for.
So estimate, evaluate every single thing. Oh, you need this, you need this, you need this. Do I really?
Do you really? Yeah, I mean, and it's okay. I think it's okay to see Davido's wedding. It's okay to see all these amazing people who got married on social media. And I'm like, you consume it. I'm like, okay, it's beautiful. But then you leave it at that. You don't absorb it and make it seem like it has to be your own story, because your reality is very different from other people's.
Also, sometimes you do these things that you need to do, and you find that they don't do anything for you. They don't move you.
Amazing. So lastly, what would be your parting shows to a girl who's getting married? People say you fight a lot with your husbands when you're doing organizing weddings. Did
you fight at all?
We bonded so much over our wedding ceremony. Like the preparation and the planning. We bonded so much because it was long distance. We were talking all the time about, now the flowers, all this. But more than just the planning, we're daydreaming about like the day, how it's gonna look, how it will feel after we are done. Like, we're like, oh my God, baby, you're getting married. Can you believe? Like, so it was really for us, I think, we really can't believe God has gotten us here because both of it was really serendipity. So we're like, oh, we really can't believe, oh my God, do you believe, like, oh my, you know?
Yeah.
So we didn't really fight. We didn't fight at all. And that doesn't have to be your story. People say you fight, you don't have to.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah.
I feel like for us also, it was a very bonding moment. It was just like really emotional, special, even like the whole wedding day. And so a lot of the things that I cut out were things that were going to bring me stress. And that's the one thing that I knew I didn't want. No stress. I just wanted to be happy and enjoy. But most of our excitement actually was for honeymoon. Like we were so excited to go away and start our lives together.
That's nice. That's
in
amazing.
a place that we love. And, it was just, it was special.
I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. So,
and looking back, I'm really happy that we stuck to our plan and kept it simple and whatever. Others would have been so mad at each other.
I get it.
Because all of these costs anyway, I'd be looking at him and being like, you.
Yeah, exactly. You stress your partner for nothing.
Yeah, and now when we went off to honeymoon, there was a lot of money in the pocket to actually enjoy. You could do whatever you wanted, buy whatever you wanted without having to worry about, oh my gosh. And then we got out of the wedding completely debt-free.
That's amazing. And that's how it should be.
As it should be.
Yeah. So your last parting words?
I'd say, first of all, plan, tie up all the loose ends. Second of all, start with your budget. How much money do you realistically have?
Me, I want to do my decor.
First, leave us. do not plan your wedding in other people's pockets. People might give you money, but the people you're expecting, like let's say I'm expecting Priscilla to give me 2 million shillings. She might have her own stuff going on at that time because we don't know. Maybe you've just started groundbreaking on your new house or whatever, and then I'll be there angry that, but I know Priscilla has the money.
I know she's my friend.
That's not how it works. The economy is pushing all of us. So I would say do not plan your wedding in somebody else's pocket. So sit realistically and speak to your partner, see how much money you two can, and your families and whatever, can come up with. And then plan from that realistically. Don't plan in other people's pockets.
Amazing.
Also, if it has no use to you, even if it worked for Priscilla or if it worked for Zerida, kick it out.
Exactly. Amazing.
What would be your
my parting shot
advice? Yes,
I think that I advocate for courageous living and living life on your own terms. So for me, it would be let your wedding reflect you as an individual. Let it reflect you and your partner, and don't just buy into the culture. So because Ican is doing amazing decor, Banange, the decor is beautiful. It is like I went to a wedding, I was like, this is what weddings are. Can I afford it? No. Do I want it? No. And it's okay. So make peace with where you are, who you are, what your pocket looks like, and do not buy into the social media hype. And if your wedding is going to be on a farm, it's still a beautiful wedding. It's because you make the main thing the main thing. You and your partner getting married and, celebrating your love is the main thing. These other things, honestly, we have just really added on. These are all layers. But when you strip it away, it's just you and your partner. And if you're with a man that you love, he loves you. So really, it wouldn't matter. Like if you didn't have 1921 flowers, would you die? No, they're beautiful flowers. But would you die if you don't have them? No. If you can't afford them now, you can't, So just be realistic and make peace with, love the things that you have and love the life that you have.
So also just to remember that it's about the marriage.
Not
weddings, just one day. One day. I barely remember most things about my wedding.
Because you're like in the moment.
Exactly.
You forget.
So it's about the marriage. So don't let all of the hype take away from the important thing.
That's true. So guys, it was lovely having you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into our first episode. And show us some love and comment down below. Let us know, how your wedding preparations are going, if you're planning, or what your thoughts are about the episode. So and then follow us on our own Instagrams.
We are extremely excited to be back here after so long. If you're watching this and you were with us before, thank you so much for coming back. We're going to give you guys a chance to ask us questions. If there's any particular thing you'd like to know about, the wedding preps and all of that stuff, we'll be happy to chat about it and answer your questions. So ask your questions away in the episode. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to
Like,
subscribe,
and comment.
And also share with a friend.
Thumbs up video.
Yeah.
Okay. Ciao, ciao. Bye.
You're watching In This Season.